Did you know that 75% of motorcyclists admit to having at least one bad riding habit that could put them at risk of an accident? That's a real number. And if you're new to riding, chances are you've already picked up a few of these habits without even realizing it. The problem is, these mistakes don't just make riding harder. They put you in real danger. But the good news is they're fixable. So in this video, we're breaking down the top beginner rider habits to break in 2025. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to correct and how to ride smoother, safer, and with a lot more confidence. Let's get started. Habit number 1, riding without proper gear. I get it. Riding gear isn't cheap, and when you're starting out, it's easy to cut corners. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm just riding around town, or I'll get the good gear later. But here's the truth. Crashes don't care if you're a beginner or a pro, and they definitely don't care how far you were planning to go. Even a low-speed fall can tear through jeans in seconds. Road rash is basically your skin being scraped raw against asphalt, and that's not even considering broken bones, head trauma, or worse. The statistics are crystal clear. Riders without proper gear are far more likely to suffer serious injuries in a crash. Helmets alone reduce the risk of head injury by 69% and the risk of death by 37%. But a helmet by itself isn't enough. You also need gloves, a real motorcycle jacket with armor-reinforced riding pants boots that protect your ankles, and no cheap motorcycle jeans from sketchy online shops aren't going to protect you. The good news? These days, there's more affordable, protective and stylish gear than ever before. There's really no excuse to ride unprotected. Habit number 2, target fixation. This is one of the most common rookie mistakes, staring at the thing you're trying to avoid. And guess what? Your bike goes where your eyes go. It's called target fixation, and it causes countless crashes every year. You see a pothole, a curb, or worse, a car, and instead of looking for a safe way around it, your brain locks onto the danger. The next thing you know, you've steered straight into it. It's even more dangerous under pressure. Say you enter a corner too fast. Instead of looking through the turn at the exit, many new riders panic and stare at the guardrail, the tree, or the oncoming traffic. And that's exactly where they end up. The fix is simple, but takes practice. Always look where you want to go. If you're entering a turn, focus on the exit. If you see an obstacle, lock your vision on the escape path, not the hazard. Your motorcycle naturally follows your eyes. Once you train yourself to do this, riding becomes safer, smoother, and much more controlled. Habit number 3. Improper use of the rear brake. Braking is one of the most important skills on a motorcycle. Yet a lot of beginners either rely too much on the rear brake or barely touch it at all. Both extremes can get you into trouble quickly. Here's the truth. Your front brake provides 70–90% of your total stopping power. If you're using only the rear brake, you're leaving most of that stopping performance unused. This is especially common with cruiser riders and dirt bikers who are used to rear brake heavy riding. But here's the catch. Stomping on the rear brake too hard can easily lock up the wheel and cause a skid. If that happens in the middle of a turn, it could lead to a low-side crash. On the flip side, ignoring the rear brake completely means missing out on extra stability and smoother, more balanced stops. The solution is balance. Use the front brake as your main stopping force and blend in the rear brake to keep the bike level and steady, especially in slow-speed maneuvers or when you want a smooth, controlled stop. Here's a drill. Next time you come to a stop, apply both brakes gently and notice how much more stable the bike feels without that heavy front-end dive. Habit number 4. Not understanding counter steering. You think turning a motorcycle is just leaning your body or pushing the handlebars in the direction you want to go? Think again. At higher speeds, motorcycles don't steer like bicycles. They rely on something called countersteering. Here's how it works. To turn left, you actually push the left handlebar forward, which makes the front wheel point slightly right. That shift causes the bike to lean left and initiate the turn. It feels strange at first, but this is the real physics of motorcycle handling. The problem is, many beginners don't know this. Instead, they try to lean harder or muscle the bike through turns. The result? Wide lines, panic in corners, or even running off the road. And guardrails or gravel are not things you want to meet up close. The fix: practice. Find an open parking lot. Get up to about 20-30 meters and gently push on one side of the bar. Feel how naturally the bike leans into the turn. Once this clicks, your cornering will instantly feel smoother and more controlled. Habit number 5. Poor throttle. Control throttle control can literally make or break your ride. Smooth throttle inputs make for a predictable, stable motorcycle, but jerky, inconsistent throttle use can cause sudden weight shifts, loss of traction, or even a whiskey throttle moment where the bike takes off faster than you expected. Many riders don't realize just how sensitive modern throttles are, especially on today's fuel-injected bikes with aggressive mapping. Twist too hard and you could loop the bike. Chop the throttle suddenly mid-turn and you could upset the suspension and lose grip. The key is to treat your throttle like a dimmer switch, not an on-off switch. Precise, gradual inputs are everything. To improve, practice in a controlled setting. Do low-speed drills, ride slow figure eights. Simulate stop-and-go traffic. These exercises build muscle memory so your throttle hand becomes steady and predictable. Once you master throttle control, every other skill, braking, cornering, and low-speed riding, becomes a lot smoother and safer. Habit number 6. Bad clutch. Habits. Your clutch isn't just for shifting gears, it's a precision tool. When used correctly, it gives you smooth power delivery, better low-speed control, and helps extend the life of your engine. The problem is, many new riders treat the clutch like an on-off switch. That leads to jerky gear changes, stalled starts, and premature wear on the clutch plates. One of the most common mistakes is not mastering the friction zone, that sweet spot where the clutch is partially engaged, letting you control power to the rear wheel with finesse. If you're rough with it, you'll either lurch forward or stall out. Both can be embarrassing at a stoplight and dangerous in traffic. Another bad habit is coasting with the clutch fully pulled in. Doing that takes away engine braking, making it harder to control your speed. Instead, use the clutch with purpose. When shifting gears or feathering it at low speeds, want to improve. Practice slow-speed maneuvers like U-turns and tight circles while feathering the clutch in the friction zone. Once you get comfortable, you'll notice how much smoother and more controlled your riding feels. Habit number 7. Over-reliance on rider. AID's modern motorcycles are loaded with safety features like ABS, traction control, and selectable ride modes. They can absolutely help in tricky situations, but here's the danger. If you rely on them too much, you're setting yourself up for trouble. These systems are designed to assist riders, not replace core skills. Too many beginners think, I don't need to work on my braking technique because ABS will save me, or I'll just use rain mode so I don't need to practice throttle control. The truth? These aids have limits. They won't correct bad habits, and if you ever jump on a bike without them, or if the system fails, you'll be exposed. Take ABS, for example. It helps prevent wheel lockup, but if you've never learned progressive braking, you might still grab the lever too hard and cause instability. The best approach is to use rider aids as a safety net, not a crutch. Focus on mastering real-world riding techniques so that if the tech ever fails, you'll still be in full control. Habit number 8. Poor lane positioning. Where you place yourself in the lane is about more than just staying centered. Good lane positioning gives you visibility, control, and safety. Many beginners ride down the middle of the lane, not realizing that's exactly where oil, dirt, and debris build up from cars. Others hug the far left or right, which can put them in blind spots or dangerously close to the edge of the road. Smart lane positioning means riding where you're most visible and always keeping an escape option in mind. In traffic, that usually means the left or right third of the lane. Depending on the vehicles around you and road conditions, if you're riding in a group, a staggered formation keeps plenty of space between bikes while still allowing each rider room to maneuver. Another common mistake, following cars too closely. Always leave a buffer zone so you have time to react to sudden stops or obstacles. A simple rule of thumb, ride where you can see and be seen. Once you master lane positioning, you'll find yourself not only riding safer, but also feeling far more in control of every situation. Habit number 9. Ignoring bike. Maintenance riding skills are only half the equation. Your bike needs proper care too. A lot of new riders skip or delay basic maintenance because they think it's not urgent. But ignoring things like chain tension, tire pressure, or oil changes can turn into major safety hazards. Here's the problem. Underinflated tires reduce grip and handling, worn brake pads cut your stopping power, and a dry or loose chain can snap under load. Even something as simple as low oil can cause overheating and long-term engine damage. The fix is simple. Get into the habit of doing a quick pre-ride check. Look over your tires, chain, brakes, and fluid levels. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it can save you from a breakdown, or worse, an accident down the road. Think of it as part of the ride, not a chore. Habit number 10. Overconfidence. Too early, confidence is key to becoming a good rider, but overconfidence is one of the most dangerous beginner habits. A lot of new riders gain a bit of experience, feel comfortable, and suddenly start pushing way past their skill level, taking corners too fast, weaving through traffic, or showing off with wheelies and hard launches. The reality? Motorcycles demand respect. If your skills don't match your speed or aggression, mistakes happen quickly, and the consequences can be serious. Every experienced rider will tell you, it's better to build skill first, speed second. The smart approach is to ride within your limits and gradually challenge yourself. Take advanced riding courses, practice emergency braking, and improve your cornering in a safe environment. Real confidence comes from skill, not shortcuts. Ride to learn, not to impress, and you'll stay safe while still having fun. A simple rule of thumb. Ride where you can see and be seen. Once you master lane positioning, you'll find yourself not only riding safer, but also feeling far more in control of every situation. If you liked this video, hit subscribe button and turn on notification for more informative videos.